2024 was a crazy year for us, and I know we aren't alone in that feeling. With all the craziness that happened, I thought it would be really nice to kick off the new year with a smaller, more casual afternoon project. So I grabbed an MDF terrain kit from TTCombat that I am hoping will inspire me to take a more determined look at my hashtag New Year, New Army. Let's see if you can guess my new army by the end of the video. This is not a sponsored video. I am just a huge fan of TTCombat. I think their products are really good and really reasonably priced. They don't know that I exist. If you are interested, I'll link them in the description below. If you wanted to look them up, TTCombat has a website where you can find all of their MDF terrain kits, as well as models and rules for their own in-house games like Drop Fleet Commander, Drop Zone Commander, Rumble Slam, and my personal favorite, Carnivale. A couple years back, Windrush Wargamers introduced me to TTCombat from their video where they were building some themed terrain around their Cond army for MESBG. Then at Gen Con this past year, I went a little hard in the paint when I found them and bought into Carnivale, buying the base game and a ton of terrain that Kat and I built in like less than a month. But they carry a bunch of terrain kits for a variety of big games like 40k, Age of Sigmar, and many others. To find instructions for the terrain, it's super easy. Just go to the website, go to the Resources tab, click on Terrain Resources, match the icon from the terrain piece that you are intending to build with the icon from the terrain line that it comes from, scroll down the fairly long and sizable list until you find the name of the terrain kit that you're working with. You should be able to download it from there and open it up as a PDF on your computer, your tablet, your phone, whatever it is that you might be working with. It's really just that easy. Step 1 of this kit, after blowing out my first pair of gloves, because my hands are just too big, was the platform that the floating obelisk was going to sit on. I punched out and cleaned up all of the pieces needed, and glued them together using white tacky glue. I know wood glue would also work, but I'm currently working with white tacky glue. Already, I really appreciate how wide the steps are, so models can stand on them very easily, and the extra details scored into the MDF is really something special. These went together really easily, and any overspill of glue I cleaned up with a Q-tip. Now, onto the floating pyramid obelisk pylon thingy, which was a series of triangles and triangular shapes in and around a couple circles for extra detail. This was not the hardest part of the build, but I will admit to some light struggles trying to keep everything lined up at once. I'm sure there was an easier and smarter way to do this, I just was not there. It is what it is. This section here reinforces to me why I love MDF terrain and why I think it's so cool. The use of layers and different planes to create depth and very interesting angles and shapes and create all of those different elements that kind of all culminate together is really something that I didn't realize my brain would get such a good buzz out of. I think it also speaks very highly to the quality of the kits and the designs behind them. Having both the platform and the obelisk done was really cool and a super exciting moment just to kind of get a feel for what it's going to look like, which was kind of hilarious in a self-misdirection because the next section of this build was nothing short of goofy, to be honest. The arcs of lightning that held the obelisk up are a great design choice. It is very evocative, very cool, but they are just a touch finicky, as you can see. What I ended up doing here was, after dry fitting it a couple of different ways, I decided that I needed to attach 3 of the 6 arcs of lightning to the platform first, and then attach them to the obelisk. And once I got that whole structure fairly sound, I very delicately and quickly went in with the other 3 pieces of the arcs of lightning to attach them in, just to bring a whole level of structural stability to the piece. During this process, I had to be very, very careful. But once it was all constructed, I did take a second just to marvel at how big it was and how cool it looked before setting it up with some of my own minis. I think I accomplished what I set out to do today, and build something low stakes that would set me up for success and motivate me for the coming year. I hope you can find time in your hobby to do the same. I love the way my spooky, scary Skelly boys look and interact with this piece. On its own, this piece of terrain, this Necron pylon, looks so cool, but I think it only looks better when there are Necrons standing and guarding all around it. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope you had a safe holiday and are looking forward to 2025 at least a little bit, no matter what you've got planned or what the world may throw at you. We at the lunch table have some buttons down below that you can interact with, or some links you can follow if you're feeling it. I've been Arden13, I'm still waiting on that ramen, and I will see you guys very soon. Thanks again.